wasn't as, I don't know what the word is, but I wasn't as worth it as other students. It helped me find my self-worth. I think BRIT helped me find my self-worth, for sure. So it's nice to come back and kind of refine that. I think the BRIT School is a very, very important place, kind of just in terms of building like concrete culture for the next few generations and like however many hundreds of generations to come. Like, I don't know, I feel like if you were to lose BRIT, you would, I don't know, it's unlike any other school that I've been to a few schools since I've left for community projects and helping out, and there's no place that's like this in terms of how positive the kids are and how much self-belief that they find here. I think it's essential for, you know, the future of, like, it sounds corny, but the future of the world, really. My goals for the future are to keep writing, keep creating, stay busy.
I'm Ashley Thomas, I'm also known as Bashi, and I started the BRIT School in 2001. I think the BRIT School just gave me like the freedom to just be creative, really. And only when I left, I realized how much I loved it. I just grew up in Northwest London and was just around my peers, just my friends. No one that I knew when I was living in my area wanted to be an actor, no one. So I couldn't even have that sort of common ground. So here, I met loads of kids who were the same age as me, who had the same sort of dreams, ambitions, and goals. And then when I left, it's like I had a massive void to fill. So I was sort of like lost for 2 years. I drove a bus for a year, was a postman for a year, whilst I just watched other BRIT School students on TV, whilst I was just like thinking, nah man, they're doing it, I can do it as well. Got shanked, then I did a film called 4321, and then The Veteran, sent a self-tape to America, got cast in a drama on HBO called The Night Of, sent another tape to America, and then for 24, yeah, and then I got offered the lead, one of the lead roles, which was, for me, amazing. Just like I've had it's been a long journey from BRIT. I always run into people from BRIT School as well, whether I'm in LA, New York, London, wherever, I'm always running into other BRIT School students. So with that, you have like you've already got something in common. So it's like it's the best icebreaker ever. Oh, you went BRIT? Oh, I went BRIT. Oh, who was there when you just, yeah.
Hello, I'm Imogen Heap, and I was a student here in 1993 to 94, which is a long time ago. And the main thing for me was learning that I had a voice, and how to record my voice, and how to edit things on the computer, and learn about desks and things like that, and engineering. I mean, 20 years later, I won a Grammy for engineering. If it wasn't for the BRIT School, I doubt I would have even stepped foot in a recording studio unless I was just singing something. But to actually have the opportunity to get to know the gubbins and, you know, what a compressor is and what EQ is and what are all these things, what does a gate do, was just, you know, really fantastic. And as a result of that, I've been able to carve this little space in my career where I'm kind of known for being a kind of one-man band where I can record it, engineer it, songwrite, sing the bits, play the bits. I have my own studio at home, and really it's so much of it has come from here. You don't have to go far in the charts or into culture these days to just bump into somebody who's been to the BRIT School. They really kind of get everywhere, and it's fun to see, you know, where people come from, and they're all from different backgrounds.
My name's Lucien. I graduated from the BRIT School 2005. And as soon as I graduated, I basically decided I'm going to set up my own window cleaning company. I really don't think that if I hadn't gone to the BRIT School, I would have, you know, had the courage to go and do what I did. And they really, really do sort of, the teachers, I mean, encourage you to really push. That is a real life changer for me, to be honest, like having come to the BRIT School for sure. I can't think of a better school to have gone to, and the skills that you learn here aren't just for acting or music or film. It really contributes to a set of skills that you can use for anything.
Hello everyone, I'm Jessica Cornish, aka Jessie J. I went to the BRIT School when I was 16 to 18 and studied musical theatre and fine art. And the reason that I auditioned was because Laura Michelle Kelly, who played my older sister in Whistle Down the Wind, knew about the school and she told me about it. And I looked it up online and I went to one of the visit nights they have, and I fell in love with the school. Memories of BRIT School, there's so, literally, if I close my eyes, I can remember it so clearly, and that's how I know it was so impactful in my life. Memories from having to get 5 trains there and back every day, but loving it, and it not being something that annoyed me or upset me, that I loved being pushed and challenged, and because I loved getting to the school. And people celebrating my individuality and not trying to make me something that I wasn't. It was probably two of the most amazing years of my life. The BRIT School is unique because it is creatively pure. It's not based on anything but the talent and the creativity that happens behind the walls. So the people that come here don't come here because they can afford it, or they come here because it's somewhere to go for fun. It's a hobby. This is what people want to do. And that's why there's been so much success throughout the BRIT School in the years. And for me, it's the place that celebrated my individuality. And as I say, as a creative, as an artist, that is crucial.
So my name's Shay Barkley and I studied dance at the BRIT School. I've currently just graduated from Berg College, and I'm doing a mixture of commercial work, and I am doing a film called Mary Poppins. Dance period was really good because I felt like at a time where BRIT can only push you so much because of obviously the structured day of being able to fit a certain amount of classes in. But at the time where I was so hungry and wanted more and to push myself and to achieve more, I financially probably wouldn't be able to have done that without the dance period classes. The dance period classes really allowed me to broaden my horizon in terms of styles and techniques, and it actually was the reason that I realized I wanted to go on to further training, because I got a taste of something that I wanted more of. I wanted a stronger foundation, a stronger understanding of what I'd experienced in that hour or hour and a half in those classes. So yeah, dance period was really important to me. My best memory is, there's so many memories. What like a go-to is just Mr. Warden's slippers. Like, you know, like you just can't kill that. Seeing that every morning is definitely the one. Him waiting there, us running in at 8:30, making sure we're on time, and just definitely summer at BRIT. The energy, the vibe, everyone outside. The jokes, the laugh, the water fights, summer's the memory.
Welcome to the BRIT School. My name is Stuart Warden and I'm the principal of the BRIT School, and welcome to our open evening. I hope you're well. I hope your loved ones are well. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're live from 6 till 8. And you can ask questions all night long. Just tap into the live stream, your questions, and we'll have experts available to answer all of your questions. But anyway, if this was an open night like any other night, we'd have thousands of people here. We'd have our young people bustling around. Our studios would be open. Our Apple Mac suites would be there to show. Our TV, radio stations, our community arts practice rooms, all for you to see. But tonight you'll have to experience that virtually. But you don't have to just think about tonight, because there are other ways that you can follow us, whether that's on Insta or Twitter or Facebook, and all the films that talk about the courses and everything else that is unique about the BRIT School and what we have to offer you if you want to be a student here is available on our YouTube channel, and you can look at those films at your leisure, and you can ask questions of experts tonight and after tonight so you can help decide if this is the school for you. So thanks for joining us. We're going to meet some experts in a minute, but just to kick off, how about 3 really good reasons to think about joining this school? Think about joining an inclusive school. This school is free. No one pays to come here. It's your school. And what is really special about that is everyone is welcome. Regardless of your social background or your context, everyone is welcome here. And that's a very special thing, which can create really special work. So think about that inclusivity and coming to that inclusive school. Secondly, this is a place which will encourage you to work, and it will encourage you to find work after studying here. We are vocational experts. Of course, we have a long line, nearly 30 years now, of producing artists, producers, practitioners, radio broadcasters, community artists, people in the world of work. And do you want to come and join a place of work where young people love to work, they love their craft, they have a passion for the arts, and this could be the place for you, a world of work, a world of industry. The creative industries have never been doing better than they are now, so I think it's a great time to think about joining the Brits. The third reason you might want to come here, and the experts are just going to expand upon that now, is that this is a place where you can get a full education. And what that means is that every part of your future can be looked after. How we care for you, how we listen to you, how we think that you might have a really kind of significant sort of future from the Brit, and how we will support you. So let me introduce you to some of those people. The first is our head of careers. Careers is so important to the BRIT School, and this is Jo Evans, our head of careers.
Hi, we are so lucky here at the BRIT School to have a full-time careers team to look after our students from the moment they join us to once they leave BRIT. And we help the students through the whole of their decision-making process whilst they're at BRIT. So I'm really looking forward to answering all of your questions tonight about careers, destinations, and what our students go on to do.
That's really exciting that your career will be looked after from the moment you consider coming to the BRIT School. When we talk about inclusivity at BRIT, we are talking about neurodiversity as well. We are talking about that if you have special educational needs or additional educational needs, this school will look after you, support you and guide you. And heading that up is our Senko, Simon Roberts, who is here tonight and will answer questions as the night goes on. Simon.
Thank you, Stuart. As you just said, I'm Simon Roberts. I'm the Senko of the BRIT School, and I'm responsible for students with special educational needs. And I run a wonderful, vibrant team of learning support assistants. In Key Stage 5, most of the support is outside the practical lessons, so it's to do with things like organisational, coursework, and research. If you have any queries, please let me know tonight. I'll try and answer the best I can. If you have something which is a bit more complex and need a longer conversation, then send me an email, and I'll try and get back to you over the next couple of weeks, and we can have a conversation over the phone. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. So we're looking after your careers, we're looking after your educational needs, we're going to help you with your coursework and your research, but we're also going to help you with you. We're going to look after your welfare, your well-being, we're going to support your mental health, and heading up that team is Rachel Penn. Rachel.
Hello, I'm Rachel Penn and I'm Director of Pastoral Care. So we look after student well-being, welfare, safeguarding and happiness really, just to make sure that you're always as well as you can be, emotionally, physically, mentally, so that you can thrive in your strands. And I'm really looking forward to taking your questions.
Thanks, Rachel. So they're all online tonight, and I love that idea that we'll be looking or trying to look after your happiness too. Imagine that. So lastly, I want to introduce Kirsty Mehta to you. She's our Senior Assistant Principal, and she's very keen to talk to you tonight about pathways, about how we can add to your educational experience whilst at the BRIT. Kirsty.
Hi, so you'll be thinking tonight about what you might apply for in the creative or performing arts, but alongside that you can also apply for some extra A-levels or potentially some resit maths and English courses. But I'm going to send you over now to a video so you can find out a bit more.
In addition to the UAL Extended Diploma, which is worth 3 A-levels, students can also opt to study an additional pathway. This might be an A-level in English Lit, History, Mathematics, or it might be an AS level in Film Studies or English Lit. Students that don't achieve a grade 4 in their English or Maths GCSE will also continue with those subjects until they achieve that number 4 grade, which is what the government requires us to do. So all of these subjects are wrapped up together under the title Pathways. Students that opt for a pathway, an A-level subject, need to be really committed because that is that 4th A-level subject. So we're looking for commitment, dedication, and a real passion for that particular A-level subject. Let's hear from those subject leaders about each of the pathways and what topics will be covered within those A-levels.
Hi, my name is Tom Waits and I'm the head of maths at the BRIT School. The BRIT School understands the importance of academic studies, and here in the maths department we will do whatever we can to make sure we support your child. And this year 78% of those students that took A-level maths got A star to C, which is an excellent achievement. The maths department is based in a very contemporary building. We have resources for whatever level students are at. We have Chromebooks for every single student. But more importantly, our best resource, and always will be our best resource, is our dedicated staff. We have a maths team who love the ethos of the BRIT School, but they love their subject, and it is that enthusiasm that will bring the best out of every single child that comes to this school.
I'm Elaine Nelson. I'm Head of English and Literacy.
I'm Mike Offen, and I'm Deputy Head of English.
Okay, post-16, we offer AS, English Literature, as well as A-level English Literature.
So that sits alongside their Strand subject, and we will provide students with 5 hours of taught lessons a week, and the expectation would be that the students match that with independent work at home. We're an incredibly popular A-level at the school, and like Elaine was saying, we put all students in for AS in the first instance, and then 2/3 of our students tend to go on for the full A-level after that. Our thread for the course is tragedy, which makes things nice and simple. So students have really enjoyed GCSE English literature. This is a chance for them to narrow their focus and get into some really kind of juicy texts such as Othello and Death of a Salesman. For A-level, like with tragedy, the focus is on political and social protest writing, which is great. We study some really exciting writers such as William Blake, Ibsen. Students also get the chance to do their own bit of coursework where they choose their text and they choose a chosen theory, which a lot of students really find exciting.
One of the popular texts at A-level is The Kite Runner because it's quite topical. So again, as Mike has said, studying the political and social protest texts. They also will do an independent study piece, which we choose, and it's great because Mike and I will always select things that are very, very current, that they explore different political ideas. So that's more or less the A-level and AS.
Hi. My name's Derek Moore. I'm the head of history, and I've been at BRIT School for the last 20 years or more, and I will teach you China between 1936 to 1997 to prepare you for the modern world.
Hi, I'm Tabo Stuck. I'm currently in my 5th year teaching history at the BRIT School, and I teach the British Empire unit. We've picked the topic of the British Empire with the time we're living through in mind. We wanted a topic that would be politically challenging and very much reflective of modern day Britain. With the controversial nature of the empire, we find it really important that young people are equipped to take part in the debate with critical thinking and lots of passion.
Having a good understanding of history will make you a better practitioner. It will make you a better artist. It will make you a better actor. And We're really passionate about the way that there really is an interaction between history and the arts, and we'll use things like propaganda. We'll use film because it's reflective, and it's really, really important to actually see how those interlink.
My name is Maxine Gordon. I am part of the film media production team at the BRIT School, and I teach AS Film. The AS Film course comprises of studying really classic films, traditional films, but also new groundbreaking ones as well that come from the independent sector. So you might study from like Casablanca and Blade Runner, but then you'll do like groundbreaking work like Trainspotting and Pan's Labyrinth. So it's really eclectic. But I'll tell you another thing that's really good about Pathways, that you learn in a very small community how to create a film to a very high professional level, just like they do on the film Strand courses. Because it's BRIT School, AS Film is like no other. The equipment is highly professional. You get access to TV studio, TV gallery, professional cameras, lighting, equipment, and sound recording. So even though you may be an accomplished dancer, great actor, you will then, if you do AS Film, become a very, very accomplished filmmaker in a very, very short space of time. So AS Film is definitely, yes, it's an additional commitment to your Strand course, but at the end, all the students say is perhaps the best thing that they've ever done and best thing they ever chose at BRIT School.
And now you've heard from all of the subject leaders, you can find out more information on each of those courses in the prospectus or online.
Hi everyone, and I hope you're really well. I'm Ray Aldkirk, one of the assistant principals here at the BRIT School, and I'm joined live by our performing arts directors who run those performing arts courses, or strands as we call them. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name's Emma Balaam and I'm Director of Community Arts Practice.
I'm Connor Doherty, I'm Director of Music.
I'm Chris McInnes, I'm Assistant Director of Music but Course Leader for Music Technology.
I'm Rob Holt, I'm the Director of Musical Theatre.
I'm Andrea Davis, I'm the Director of Dance.
And I'm Sarah Goodall, I'm the Director of the Theatre Department.
Fantastic, thanks guys. So this is a really good chance to hear from the directors and course leaders about what the differences are between those courses. You may already have a really good idea, but this is a chance for you to really find out what those differences are, why you should apply for the BRIT School, and some of the things that you might be thinking you've got questions for. We've got 3 ways that you can ask those questions tonight. So, as Stuart said, you can put those in the YouTube live chat, and we've got a whole team of staff who are able to answer those questions. If you've got maybe a more specialist question, you might want to ask Student Services, and that's by email. So if you email studentservices@brit.croydon.sch.uk, they will be able to answer those questions for you. Or alternatively, it's a bit old school, but you could pick up the phone or the mobile and call us on 0208 665 5242. So we want your questions to come in, please. Questions for the panel, we'll try and answer those if we can. So, if you're interested in creative arts, that panel discussion, so you know guys, is at 7:15. Now, we know you can only apply for 1 strand, so just some general things before we get into the questions. All of these strand courses are UAL, or University Arts London, qualifications. They are extended diplomas, and they are the equivalent of 3 A-levels. And we're really delighted that last year's Year 13 graduates achieved over 50% of those students getting distinction. That's the equivalent of 3 A's at those A-levels. So phenomenal results across the board. It's also worth knowing that all of the strands do work with each other in terms of the students interacting and collaborating, and that they do community projects alongside those. So let's not take any more time. Let's put our questions to the directors. And the first one, guys, this often comes up, is what it is that's special about your particular courses here at the BRIT School at Post 16. Emma, for community arts practice.
So first and foremost, community arts practice at the BRIT School is the only course of its kind in the country. So therefore, it's unique in its own right. In terms of the curriculum delivery, what makes the course really unique is that as part of the timetabling, we offer opportunities for students to go out and work with the community clients that they are studying. So examples of that are students go and work at the Crisis Centre in Croydon, a charity that supports people living with homelessness. We have a performance project that's taught to thousands of local students at secondary schools, which is part of the Met Police's knife crime prevention strategy, a rehearsal for which you'll actually see on Instagram later tonight. And we also work really closely with a local dementia service using the arts to engage with and support people living with dementia.
Fantastic. Thanks, Emma. That's really helpful in terms of community arts practice. Connor, in terms of music.
So the first thing to understand is that music's made up of two routes or two courses. One is a purely music route and the other one is music technology. And they sit side by side in the department. The strengths, I think, of the department are many, but to pick a couple out, one is being part of a like-minded community of young creative musicians, working with them, working on new projects with them. Another one would be the work that we do across curriculum, across the different parts of the school and working with other artistic disciplines. Chris, I think you're probably going to talk about resources.
Yeah, I mean, one massive thing we have is how well-resourced the department is. Not just for music technology, but music in general is very, very reliant on equipment when you're looking at rock and pop music and that sort of thing. So we're incredibly lucky to have some very well-resourced rehearsal rooms for students to work on their practical work and form their own bands and all that sort of thing. And when it comes to technology, we've got a fully kitted out digital recording studio that runs Pro Tools, which is actually very rare for educational establishments to use now. And then we've got some larger Mac suites running software like Logic and Ableton alongside that, again, which is just incredible resources for students at the age that they would be. Collaboration-wise, just to add to what Connor said as well, with the two routes, what's really nice is how the music technology students work alongside the music route students, for instance, recording their compositions, working with them in different bands. So those two courses very much coexist together rather than being separate entities.
Brilliant. Thanks, Connor and Chris. Rob, in terms of musical theatre, what makes the course so special here?
So I think in terms of musical theatre, our curriculum is entirely evolved around the idea of creating not just highly skilled performers, but also highly skilled creatives. So we're as interested in nurturing the skills needed to sing, act and dance as we are in the skills needed to compose, to write, to choreograph. And I think that's really evident in the curriculum and in terms of the types of projects and lessons that our students take part in. And I think the other thing is that word we're going to hear a lot tonight, which is about collaboration. And obviously musical theatre is an entirely collaborative art form. And we're really, really fortunate to have 7 full-time members of staff who teach across the 3 disciplines. And as such, a lot of those disciplines overlap quite early on in the course, and students get to work across those 3 art forms, both within the Strand and across the school. And we're also really, really fortunate to have a fantastic range of alumni and industry guests who also partner our course in various ways throughout the 2 years that students spend with us in post-16, and that creates many other really exciting opportunities.
Thanks, Rob. Brilliant. Andrea, what about dance? What makes it so special?
The course that we offer here at Post-16 is really diverse. We want students to have lots of opportunities to grow and develop. So we offer contemporary, ballet, musical theatre, physical theatre, street styles as well. So the art forms that they get to be exposed to equips them with lots of different skills, and therefore they can make progress as well really rapidly. The teachers are incredible. They come from different parts of the industry and they have lots of knowledge and understanding which they can obviously pass on to our students as well. They're totally dedicated and passionate about what they do, and that really helps with engaging students in the learning of being an artist. So, you know, if they're being technical in their technique classes as well as being creative in their choreography or improvisation classes as well. We have excellent links with the industry. So we work with One Dance UK. They do lots of well-being work with our students and supports us and the students through their 2 years here. So it's really good.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andrea. Sarah, in terms of theatre, what makes the course so special here?
So the theatre course is nearly 30 years in the making, and there are so many wonderful projects that form our course that have got a real kind of legacy in the school, such as our new writing festival, Strawberry Picking, which will actually be in its 20th year this year. You know, the students all get an opportunity to learn how to write a play, we select plays, the students then direct them and are actually in them themselves. Into its 19th year this year, we have our Common Ground project, which is an opportunity for our students to work on 3 play texts in this very space, which is an amazing resource as a theatre. We do have lots of wonderful alumni. We love our alumni here at BRIT. I love my BRIT Theatre alumni. We've got lots of connections with the industry through them, and they are always able to give back to our students through Q&As, workshops, and the course is really carefully crafted. So yes, you might be coming here because you're a really keen actor, and absolutely you're going to get some actor training, but also the opportunity to kind of dip your toe into writing plays, understanding how you might direct something. So you are a theatre maker, not just an actor.
Brilliant. Thanks, Sarah. And I know as you've been saying things, I've seen people nodding because there's some similarities as well in terms of some of the amazing things that are happening across the different courses. So my next question is really thinking about, we get questions all the time and you get asked what you're looking for in the young people who apply. We know that we want hardworking, professional, committed young people. We know our core values. As a school, we look for and encourage original young people, responsible, ambitious, inclusive, and that kindness element that we're looking for as well. I suppose my question is what it is about your particular art form and strand and course that you're really looking for in those young people. Emma, can I start with you in community arts practice again?
Yeah, so in a community arts practice student, we're looking for a young person that wants to use their arts discipline, whether that be performance or creative, to spark social positive change. So students that are up for the challenge of exploring some of those social topics that are maybe a little bit more difficult or taboo when it comes to talking about them, and using arts as a form to open communication within those topics, and also obviously with different types of people kind of across the communities.
Thank you, Emma, for community arts practice. Connor, over to you in terms of music.
So for music, we're looking for young musicians who have music at the center of their lives, at the center of their world. Those young people who just have to do it. We're looking for people who seek out and enjoy and experiment with all the music opportunities that are available to them. And we're very aware that, you know, people come from all different backgrounds to this school, which is one of the BRIT School's great strengths. And we know that the arts, access to the arts is easier in some parts of the country or for some people than it is for others. And that's something we take into consideration very much. But what we want to see is that you're seeking those opportunities and making the most of them. Chris?
Yeah, for music technology, it's the same as music. But the big thing that we look for is students who are into the subject as an all-round and as a very broad subject, because especially if they haven't had opportunities for formal education, they may be completely self-taught on their instrument, or particularly with music production. And it's just getting used to the fact that when you're studying the subject at a post-16 level, suddenly all these other elements are introduced. So you're going to learn about the history of the subject, you're going to be analysing key works, you'll be learning a lot of music theory, and it's just having those students who, no matter what their background is and what their experience is, having an open mind and be willing to trust us as their teachers in what we ask them to do, but have that willingness to try and experiment.
And again, I saw that sense that that's a really important part of a BRIT School student, is that openness and willingness to try new things and to learn new areas of that specialism. Rob, in terms of musical theatre, what are there specifics that you're looking for from young people?
I think musical theatre, obviously, we're looking at 3 art forms upon students applying for us, with singing, acting and dancing. And I think the word we use always is potential. We want students to show potential in all those 3 areas, but not necessarily prior experience. And I think that's really important. As others have said, that idea that everyone is welcome in here, regardless of their sort of prior experience. And I think as long as we see that potential to want to learn and to want to be in a studio with us and want to develop, that's what we're looking for. We also, in musical theatre, are really looking for ensemble players. The whole art form is entirely reliant on its ensemble and the strength of being a member of that ensemble and what that means. And I suppose we're looking for students that can work well with others, but also can celebrate each other's differences. And that's really what we're looking for potential applicants.
Thanks, Rob. And Andrea, for dance, what are you looking for?
For dance, yeah, I definitely agree with everyone. There's the potential. I'm really excited to find new talent. So students who perhaps have an idea of, what they really enjoy. So if it's street or ballet or contemporary, but again, they don't have to necessarily have a qualification or exam or, a certain number of years in that experience. So when they arrive and they come and do the workshop with us, it's about kind of like their energy in the room, how they take on feedback, and how they kind of like use themselves in the space. So yeah, really excited about kind of like new people coming with different ideas, as well as being creative as well, not just the technical ability.
Yeah, I'm so glad people didn't see our warm-up beforehand that you led, Andrea, but that's okay. Sarah, what about in theatre? What are you looking for the young people applying?
Well, I think the beauty of the UAL qualification is it's all about making progress. So we know that our students will all come at different starting points, and it's about the journey whilst you're here. So we're looking for young people that are open and willing to learn. Absolutely, I've heard the word experiment and explore. We need students that are ready to kind of be able to work with different people to explore different genres of work, different characters, different styles and ways of learning that they may never have had the opportunity to before. But equally, we know that some of the young people that apply won't have had the opportunity to study drama in their secondary schools or any extracurricular outside of school. And we still need you to apply because theatre, the BRIT School, is transformative for some of these young people. And if you have an instinct or a passion for the subject, then we need you to apply as well. I'm
really getting a sense, just picking up on some common themes, potential, not necessarily experience, but also that drive or that energy or that passion to want to explore the art form. Really coming through really strongly. There's some questions coming through here, guys, that I'll try and get to towards the end, but a question that does come up a lot, and actually there's a couple here on it, alumni, and what after BRIT, that whole sense of the platform that this is. You guys are so experienced seeing the progression of students in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, that transformative element that you were talking about, Sarah. Maybe some examples, or kind of what do students, young people, go on to after BRIT? Emma, in terms of community arts practice.
So because the range of skills that students study on the community arts practice course is so vast, students can quite literally go on to do anything they want. So we have lots of students that will go on to drama school, university to study applied theatre. We'll also have students that will go on to do discipline-specific training. So we've got 2 students in drama school at the moment, one at RADA and one at Central School of Speech and Drama. We've got students that will go on and study psychology, social work, events management, and we've also got students that will go straight into work. So currently we have a student who is a children's television presenter on Channel 5's Milkshake, and we've also got a student that's working on one of the production teams at ITV. So quite literally, the world is your oyster.
Yeah, really vast range. Thanks, Emma. Connor, Chris, in terms of music and music technology?
So typically, music-wise, about 50% of our students go on to higher education. So that might be to universities around the country to do a music degree or a music or a popular music degree, or something with music technology, or they might go to the conservatoires. So that could be in London, or it could be up the country a bit, either again to do jazz performance or maybe to do popular music, professional performance standard.
And then, a lot of them go straight into the industry. Both myself and Connor have been here a long time, and we've seen so many students do really well, a handful of them becoming, very well known. But what people miss sometimes is the hundreds, if not thousands, of students that are out there making a living as live musicians, making a living as producers, as engineers. I find if I'm watching things like Glastonbury or Jules Holland, I'm constantly spotting students from a few years ago that I didn't know were playing for particular people. And they're obviously out there doing their thing, being really successful creatively, and they keep up this network of ex-students as well. We often hear of ex-BRIT music students giving work to each other or ending up working with each other 10 years after they left.
Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Chris. Rob, musical theatre alumni,
Yeah.
they're all over the place.
They are
focus
all over
on?
the place. I think our sort of course ethos is very much about creating choice for students, and obviously for many of our students that choice is often further training in the arts, either in musical theatre or in sort of the related sectors, and many from that point do go straight into industry, and you know, we find graduates from the musical theatre course across all of the West End and touring and sort of internationally, but also I think coming back to that idea of choice, we have students that perhaps spend 2 years with us and actually discover along the way something else that really perhaps interests them that isn't necessarily down the traditional musical theatre further training route, and that's also something we really celebrate. And as others will say this evening, you know, the skills they're developing on the musical theatre course are so interrelatable that many students do go into, for example, teaching or working in events management. All of these skills are sort of nurtured on the course as well, but yes, of course, many do go on to further training in the arts.
Thanks, Rob. Andrea, dance.
Yes, so I think due to the versatility that we offer here at BRIT School is our students really do kind of are open to lots of different possibilities in terms of exit routes. So the majority of them will go to vocational colleges. Some will specialise more in the musical theatre route, so like Bird or London Studio Centre or Erdang. Some will go straight into the sector and work in more of the commercial work. And then a lot of our alumni maybe will go into more of the conservatoire, so the ballet and contemporary route, so Rambert, The Place, Laban, and some just kind of like make their own work as well. So they're really kind of creative and they kind of network really well, which I think has been mentioned before. Our students have worked with such a vast range of like professional companies, including Rambert, Wayne McGregor. We had a student who was on tour with Beyonce, which did a world tour, Akram Khan, West End musicals as well, and also the films as well that have come out. So they're really, really successful.
Thanks, Andrea. Sarah, theatre alumni, what's the range? What kind of things?
So lots of our young people go off to drama school. So they're at Mountview, Guildhall, Lambda, RADA, Royal Welsh, to name a few. Some of them go off to university to study theatre or creative writing, but some people go off to do degrees in history or English or maths. So it is vast. And we do then have a number of students that go straight to work in the industry because they're ready. And we have some people that are setting up theatre companies. So yeah, there's lots and lots of options.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sending your questions in. There's one here actually, and I think Rob and Andrea, you could probably help out with this one. And it's just focusing in, this is from Holly, about the differences between musical theatre and dance in terms of the dance element. I just wonder, so a little bit of a sort of view, maybe Rob, if you want to start in terms of what that would be for musical theatre.
Yeah, so at post-16, the musical theatre course is, to begin with, is very equally split between each of the disciplines. So across the students' time in the week, a third of their time will be spent in dance sessions, and that isn't just musical theatre dance. So students take part in ballet, contemporary, jazz, tap classes throughout the course. And then obviously as we, depending on which projects we're working on, they're also working on choreography from their shows. But it is a common question that comes up at open evening, particularly for musical theatre, is students that perhaps are interested in maybe theatre, maybe music, maybe dance, or maybe musical theatre. So of course we are kind of doing all three, but I also think there's probably also significant differences between our strands as well.
Thanks, Rob. I mean, I'm aware of the musical theatre elements within the dance course, Andrea, as well, but this specialism in terms of dance, maybe that's part of the difference? Andrea?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of their time is obviously moving, being in the studio, being with specialists from either industry or our teachers, gaining the technical and artistic kind of knowledge that they can really apply that within lots of different styles. So, of course, we do physical theatre, we do contemporary, jazz, tap, and lots of different other styles as well, and street styles. So we really realise that students who come to dance want to also enter kind of the West End. So we give them that opportunity to their vocal skills, their characterisation, and it's really beneficial to them. They really enjoy that aspect.
Thanks, Andrea. There's a question that's come in, which is more of a general question, about what qualifications are needed for post-16. So there's different study programmes if you are focused on studying purely, which is challenging, the UAL qualification in that Strand area, then the audition or the workshop on the process that you go through, that is the thing that decides whether you get into the BRIT School. Obviously, we want you to get the best qualifications you can, but the determining factor is the process that you go through to be here, showing all of the things that we've been talking about today. If it's a question of resits, then obviously, like all places, we run those resits and we have the additional A-levels. But to get onto the course, the focus is on showing that passion and that energy that we've been talking about for each of these individual strands. Remember, you can only apply for one. So guys, as they've been talking through, hopefully you get a sense of the differences between the individual strands. Another question that's come through that again does come up quite often, I think, when we have the open evenings on site and we have thousands of people around, is the sorts of advice that you might give to people thinking about applying for your course particularly. And maybe they're thinking about the application, maybe they're thinking about preparation. So just, I suppose, guys, what advice you might give specifically for your course in that process. Emma, for community arts practice.
So for community arts practice, we want to see that you understand the course you're applying for. We want to see that you've done your homework, you've read the prospectus, you've watched now the videos on YouTube, you've been to the open evening, you've asked the questions. We want to see that you've really done your best to understand what it is that you would be undertaking were you successful. We also really like to see an idea of where you think this course could take you in the future. That's also something that is quite important to us in you seeing how this is going to benefit your life moving on from BRIT.
Thank you. In relation to music, Connor?
I think we have a lot of things in common in terms of what we're looking for across the departments. I suppose the one I would add is that a really well-written application form is a vital thing. And I would really put as much effort into that as you possibly can.
Brilliant. Again, I'm just seeing people nodding with the effort to make that application as good as you possibly can. Remember, guys, that's an online application just through the school website.
One thing that comes up with us, with music in particular, but also music tech, is students often saying that their weak point is music theory. And what we always ask them is, well, what are you doing to improve that? Because depending on people's background and what their current school is like, and they may not have had any chance to be taught music theory, but it's something that anyone can go out and find the information for free. There are cheap books you can get, but now there's lots of online resources, and that's something that if you're thinking of applying for music or music technology, and you think, maybe I don't have enough experience in that, start doing a bit of music theory training.
That's great specific advice, Chris. Thank you. Rob, preparation for musical theatre applicant.
Yeah, I agree. We want students that know what the courses that they're applying for. Our course is physically really demanding, and we want to find from students that they are expecting that and that they want to be challenged. And I think part of that is also students that are okay to get things wrong and be okay with making those mistakes. We certainly want that in our young people. And I think the other thing I would say, particularly for musical theatre, is we want students to be themselves. And I think sometimes there's a misconception that in musical theatre we're wanting sort of factory clones of individuals, and that's the last thing we want at this school. We really want to sort of get to see the student that's applying, not just the part they're playing in their role, if that makes sense. So yeah, students to be themselves.
Thanks, Rob. And I know there'll be echoes across. Andrea, any particular advice for potential dance students applying?
Yeah, I think for dance students, we're looking for students who are really passionate about what they do. And if they can show that through their application or when they're in the studio and we're doing the admissions process, that's really important. We're looking for their kind of dedication to their work. So again, if they have not had that chance to do lots of different styles that we offer, that's fine. We're here to teach that. But we want to see that the students are going to be open to giving advice and that they can apply that and that they're reliable. That's really important as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Reliability. Thanks, Andrea. Sarah, advice for theatre applicants?
Yeah, it's the same for everybody. We read every single form, and it's the first time we get to meet you on paper. So it's important that you do take care over filling in that form, make sure you filled it in yourself, but do get somebody else to have a read of it before you click send. And for us specifically, you are asked to prepare 2 speeches, one from a list and a contemporary choice. And I think a biggest bit of advice is make sure that you have read the plays of which the speeches have come from. And I know that might be tricky at the moment with some of the bookshops being closed that we would necessarily kind of send you to. But hopefully you might have a drama teacher at school that might be able to help you out with some plays, or there's some, you know, a local library if it's open, or ask your friends, ask your peers, yeah.
The question that's come through, thank you, Sarah, is, you know, we're in the current kind of situation where online has obviously developed, and as a BRIT school, there's been some extraordinary things that you guys have overseen in your different areas. I just wondered if I could ask and frame this question that's coming through. What are we doing in terms of online provision? We've been amazingly successful. So, I mean, could I just switch it around a little bit? And maybe, I mean, Sarah, if I come back to you in terms of theatre, maybe an example of online provision that we've had.
Yeah, so particularly during the lockdown period, because we're actually managing to do lots of face-to-face stuff at the moment, we were able to deliver our strawberry picking playwriting festival, which you can actually watch on our Instagram channel. You can pop on there. All of the work is on there for you to see what we were able to achieve, even though we weren't actually in the room with our students. And in addition to that, we had over 60 masterclasses with various people, which was, you know, enabled our students to continue to kind of develop and grow, even though they weren't in the studio space with us.
Fantastic. And just think about music, Connor. I mean, certainly I saw some lawyers involved in the music industry giving masterclasses, just as one example, but that or other examples, Connor?
Yeah, well, that's probably something as a school we're strong at, because we're fantastically lucky that we have very serious industry links. So something like lockdown, we were able to call on all our friends who work around the industry to come and give online classes or online workshops or question and answer sessions. We had a Afro-Cuban pianist live from LA doing a class for us at 6 a.m. LA time. You know, we had all sorts of things happening during lockdown, and it was it's really because of this great support network we have around us.
Fantastic. Community arts practice online, Emma, how have you been able to use that?
So we've actually been able to widen our reach because of the online provision. So one of the things that we did over lockdown was we engaged with our community partner, the White Horse Community Hub, which is just at the end of the road from the school, and they support adults with different learning needs. And what we did during lockdown was our students facilitated online workshops directly into people's homes, so people were still able to have that engaging arts experience from the comfort of their own home. So we still had that reach, which was fantastic.
Brilliant. I'm going to just think of that as just to cover that. We've just got a few moments left before we're going to the students, your students, who are over in the library with Claire, and we're going to go to them in a moment. But just to finish, a question has just come through about how people can find out a bit more about your different areas. And I know this will be similar. Rob, musical theatre, and I know it'll be similar, but how can people find out more about your course?
At the moment, we're putting a lot on our social media channels, and we try and respond to everyone that might ask us a question on that. But we are, as everyone is, you know, responding digitally because that is our way to reach people at the moment. So we're very active on there, and we are often going to direct viewers towards work that they can see that's happening currently, but also kind of Q&As with current students. So that's usually the best channel of communication, and obviously all the other ways of getting in touch with the school.
Beautifully timed, Rob. It's just for me now to thank our panel of experts, directors for performing arts. Thank you so much. A quick reminder before we go over to the library, application forms, please get those in for performing arts, other than CAP, where you have an extension to do your research. But it is 16th of November for the performing arts, and then community arts practice and the creative arts, we're going to meet those guys later, are the interviews, the applications in for the deadline of January, and that date is in front of me. It is the 30th of January. We're going over to the library now. I'm seeing the timing is perfect. Claire, over to you with the amazing students who are going to talk through their life at BRIT.
Thanks, Ray. I'm here with Edie and Ellis, who are community arts practice students. And the first thing I really want to know, Edie, is why did you choose community arts rather than a theatre course or a musical theatre course?
Well, I chose community arts because although I love drama and I love musical theatre, I really like working with other and different types of people, and I think community arts practice is like theatre with a purpose in a way. So we're going out and we're helping people, and it's just about helping other people's lives, really.
Tell me a little bit more about that. What's been a highlight of the people that you've worked with over the last year or so?
So from the start, it's just like we worked with like secondary schools, and we was aiming to bring like a whole bigger project on Shakespeare. And after that, we ended up working with children, and we ended up making a Christmas show for them. Straight after that, went straight to helping people with just disabled people.
Yeah.
That wasn't really able to do much, but we was able to help them, check on them, and also provide shows and entertainment for them on a weekly basis.
Oh, thank you, Ellis. That was really detailed. What's been a highlight? Because obviously lockdown happened as well. How did that affect you?
Honestly, it wasn't the best experience, but from a day-to-day basis, literally every day was just online, but we were still able to enjoy. The warm-ups were funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And work with the clients.
Yeah, so with our White Horse Hub people, the adults with special needs, we managed to put them online. So we did weekly calls with them, and we did workshops and activities, and they absolutely loved it. It was so much fun.
That's incredible that you carried that on.
Yeah.
Tell me about the skills you've developed.
so many. The first one I like to say is that we learnt sign language.
Yeah.
We literally, our Christmas show, we had to sign the whole show, and it was a struggle, but at the end of the day, we learned how to do it, and we provided a good show.
And with all these incredible skills that you've developed, where do you see your careers going? What's next for you two?
Well, I personally want to go to university and do a higher education, applied theatre, and then hopefully go and work in a community theatre group. But with the skills that we have learned, if then you decide, oh, actually I don't want to do theatre anymore, you can go into teaching, nursing, just because of all the skills that we've learned.
Okay, so lots of opportunities, lots of things happening. What about you, Ellis?
Me, I'd like to go into full-time work, mainly working with either a youth club or just somewhere helping the community in certain ways.
Okay, and you're perfectly set for that. Yeah. Great, thank you. So we're going to talk to the music strand now. Obviously, BRIT is really well known for music. We're sponsored by the record industry. So Mia and Atsi, tell me a bit about what it's like to study music at the BRIT School.
It's really great studying music at BRIT because it's such a versatile course. We do classical music, ethnomusicology, and freelance and marketing, as well as 5 hours practical a week. So you really just get to hone your skill and just become a better musician from that.
So it's like a whole industry experience from beginning to end, really. Okay, that's great. And actually, you study musical tech, don't you? Music technology, rather. Tell us about that. How's that different?
Well, it's more focused on more music production and sound engineering and working in the studio. So it's more like making what you perform rather than performing.
Right. So what kind of equipment's available to you guys? Is it, what have you got there?
We have the recording studio, which has Pro Tools and mics and stuff like that. We have some rooms with Logic and Ableton to make music. So it's really versatile.
There's that versatility, it's very practical. Yeah. Right, okay, good. So obviously we have a lot of inspiring people come to see us here at BRIT. Is there anyone that's really stood out for you that you've really thought, I'm really inspired by them?
For me, it was definitely Black Midi because they literally just left BRIT, or they've left maybe 2 years ago, and they were just really inspiring because they were just had an awards show, and their music's really out there and really different, and it's just really nice to see.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's a good alumni story. Thank you. How about you, Atsi? Is there anyone that's really stood out for you?
I think Robin Miller is a music producer. He produced for, is it Sade?
Yeah.
Yeah, he produced for her, and I think he just gave us some really good advice. And I think it really stuck with us as a whole strand, or as a class. It really
So you're getting that advice from industry leaders, people that have worked in the record industry or the music industry for a long time. And so with all of that experience, what kind of other skills are you developing in music? So obviously you play the saxophone, is that right, Mia?
I play the saxophone. So we learn a lot of music theory, which like helps you with all like writing out your parts, especially for a horn player. I have to write out like maybe saxophone, trumpet, and then another like tenor saxophone. It's really interesting, just learning all the tricky things, but they explain it really well.
Okay, so you're sort of getting the experience, you're getting the theory, lots of time to play and sort of, you know, develop. Thank you both so much. So many of you might be studying drama at your school now. We call drama theatre at BRIT. We're going to talk to our 2 theatre students. This is Ariana and Junior. Tell us why you chose theatre here at BRIT.
For me, the reason I went for theatre at BRIT was because it really allows you to look at all aspects of theatre, so the directing, the writing and the acting. And even if you do just want to be an actor or just want to be a director or just want to be a writer, I think it's really important to know about the different areas so you can feed that into your sort of work. And also it gives you a real political stance. And something great I found at BRIT is you can go in, you'll have political discussion, like you do protests, and there's always, your voice is always heard, basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's always a big day, isn't it? Protest day. Okay, thank you. How about you, Junior? Tell us about why you're so glad that you're here doing theatre at this place.
I'd say like the opportunity that you get here, you wouldn't really get it in other places. I would say comparing to how it was like when I was in secondary school, there were very limited funds and stuff. And I think when you come here, you have this massive opportunity which you really need to take because like the facilities are amazing. They have like so many like quality equipments and stuff which you can use, which can help you to kind of like to go to the next level. And I think if you really want to take acting as something that you want to do in the future, I think it can really help you to kind of get used to the surrounding of what the industry is going to be like.
Yeah, and what about the kind of support you get? Because you know it's long days, it's hard work. What kind of support do you get from the theatre department?
Well, they just introduced like a mentoring scheme, so they match all of us up with people working in the industry, specifically to us. So like if the teachers know you're really interested in acting for screen or really interested in writing or directing, they pair you with someone who's doing that. So lots of outside advice. You can always email teachers if you need any support and help. And just a community, like everyone in theatre is so lovely to each other. Everyone gets on so well. It's like such a community. So yeah, it's really nice.
So you're there sort of supporting one another as well. Yeah. And what's been, so lockdown, I know all of your lessons went online. What's been a highlight of the lockdown lessons?
For me, I would say just seeing everyone's like strawberry picking work, which is kind of like when we create, like we kind of like write our own work and then we create it ourselves. And I think kind of seeing the journey of how everyone's kind of collabed together and kind of created this work, it was just really nice to see.
Yeah, and that work's still available online, isn't it? If anyone wants to look at the strawberry picking season of all of your work that you developed. Okay, thank you. Right, so we're coming back to dance. Hi guys. So tell me, you're all dancers, and you've all been here for 4 years as well, haven't you? You've been 2-year journey, 4-year journey. How have your skills developed over those years?
I think the transition, personally, from Key Stage 4 to Post 16, how it's just gotten so much more intense since moving into Year 12, and just there's so much versatility, and obviously the teachers that have been with us this whole time, they have really helped us kind of like improve ourselves, like, and they're really good at giving feedback. So it's just been great to have that kind of personalised feedback.
So you've seen your own skills develop over that time, and as well as each other's. So obviously there's lots of different disciplines in dance. Do you need to be an expert in all of those?
Definitely not. I mean, what they're looking for is passion and drive, and for you to just come in and own it. And like, they don't want a finished product. They're not looking for that. They want someone with potential who they can teach, who they can help improve and develop, and go on to learn these skills to then go into the industry. So, and
that would apply across all strands, wouldn't it? That would be the same for every strand. We're not looking for the finished article, we're looking for people with potential. LaShawn, tell me about some of the things that you've really stood out with that you love about dance.
I say, like, my favourite things are like the projects and the shows. I think when it comes to showtime, you really get to show your own work as well as the technique you've learned from the beginning of like your journey and to that point of time. And also like we done a project for film, and we got to show our own work, and it's on a website somewhere. And it's like you get to create your own film on a stimulus.
So you had to, so you were involved in the creation of that, as well as the choreography, as well as your performing and everything. So it was really stretched you again. That's great. So what do you think is a general day in dance? What might a day look like?
We have really intense days. It's usually 9 to 4:15 with like an hour for lunch, and we'll have like different technical classes like ballet and contemporary, and then maybe one day we'll have jazz, one day we'll have street styles, and it's just really all-rounded and versatile, and I think that's what makes BRIT so special. Like, we have so many things to learn about and so many great teachers to learn from.
You must all be exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And we're coming over now to musical theatre, to Imogen and Zaki. So tell me, there's a lot of similarities, isn't there? You know, you don't have to be fully formed in all of this, but tell me, what makes musical theatre special at BRIT?
Well, I think what makes musical theatre special at BRIT is just how diverse it is as a strand. For example, you may have a friend who does musical theatre but does an A-level in film, and then they can incorporate that aspect into musical theatre learning. For example, Lejeune said making short films, like we might make a short film on musical theatre. For example, we did devising during lockdown, and just those sort of little key bits of talent really helps and like builds the strand.
Yeah, so again, you're developing those skills, doing different things. Thank you. Imogen, what's been a real highlight for you of studying musical theatre?
I definitely think that it's more extracurricular, like alongside what we do within our strand, and we can use those skills that we learn in strand to branch off into different things. Like we have things like the drag show, and like, you know, like we have loads of talented dancers, and then we have things like assemblies where people can write monologues and perform different things. I think it's really important that we can get involved in those different extra things and branch out more, because I think we can all show the different talents we have as musical theatre performers.
Yeah, so there's lots of opportunities to do that.
Yeah.
Tell me about the industry links. So obviously, you know, musical theatre industry, what kind of connections have you made? What kind of, you know, what kind of experts have you seen and heard?
So in lockdown we had loads of different talks with people who went to BRIT, or some people that didn't come to BRIT, and we had like amazing workshops. We did like a clown class, which was quite fun. Yeah, and we've had workshops, this was when we were in around Key Stage 4 time, yeah, with different performers that were coming. We did amazing like cats workshops for dance as well. So yeah, just loads of different people coming in and just sharing their experiences and stuff.
That's fantastic. And just, what do you think you've developed? So over the time that you've been here, what skills do you think you've developed in that? Because you guys have both been here, you're in your 4th year, aren't you? So what skills have you developed?
Well, coming into year 10, it's definitely matured quite a lot. For example, travelling to and from like school and home, that definitely makes you more mature, and meeting so many different people from different backgrounds and learning about them, and just being when you say BRIT is a family, it really is, because especially as you said, the alumni come in, they talk about their experiences, and then you can like relate to theirs, and it just makes you more mature, more focused. Yeah.
Thank you everybody. We're going to be back here talking to creative arts students in about an hour. We're going to watch a video now. Thanks.
So what 3 qualities you need to be a BRIT School student? I think open-minded,
original,
ambition,
exciting,
great,
supportive,
vibey, enthusiastic,
hardworking,
professionalism, love,
yeah, chaotic but fabulous. I wanted to apply simply because I'll be doing something that I love every day, surrounded by people who also love to do the same thing as me.
It's so much more than just a school. Everybody is so nice and so open, and it makes you feel like you're at home when you're there, and I absolutely love it.
You walk in, everyone's got a smile on their face. Everybody's there because they want to be.
There's so many different strands, so there's so many talented people that you're able to collaborate with.
Everyone's doing what they want to do, and everyone's there for a reason.
We were around other creative people that had the same aspirations, interests and excitements as us.
No one judges you. You can wear whatever you want to wear.
And I think the teachers and the students do such an amazing job of helping you through that journey.
With the teacher you have, the people around you, you can always ask for advice and you can always get help from anybody.
Everyone is so lovely, and I think that's what's so special about BRIT for me, is how amazing all the people are and the community that they make.
The amount of talent in one bubble in Croydon is insane.
So even before hearing of BRIT, I was sort of longing and dreaming of a school where creativity is not only embraced, but championed to the max. I wanted nothing more than simply just learn more about the thing I loved and be surrounded by other passionate creatives.
And I remember this is what we call a lesson. This is incredible. I'm in a room rehearsing with really talented people.
I was lucky enough to get a place, and I hope you do too, because as soon as you arrive on your first day of school, you immediately get an impression of what a special school BRIT is. There's an atmosphere that is something I've never really experienced before in a school, a sense of community due to the fact that everybody wants to be there and that everyone's excited to be there.
And beyond words, BRIT School is an incredible school. Our motto is always BRIT, and I'm now realising that it is always BRIT School. You are surrounded by people who you're gonna be with forever. You want to do the same thing. You kind of make connections every day because your friends are your connections.
I feel more confident within myself. I feel much less self-conscious and much more like I'm able to be myself. And I think that's a testament to everything that the course has done for me already.
Hey, welcome back. If you've just tuned in, welcome to the BRIT School Virtual Open Evening. If you've been with us since earlier on in the evening, how are you doing? I hope you're okay. I hope everyone's loved ones are all right. My name's Stuart, I'm the principal of the BRIT School, and it's lovely to welcome you here and for you to be part of our Virtual Open Evening tonight. I think that last section was one of my favourites of the night, just hearing from young people about how this school may well have transformed them. I loved the fact that they were saying that this is a community. I really liked that they were saying that they're cared for. I think it's really powerful to think that a young man like Freddie, who's a brilliant filmmaker, that he should say that the school has helped him be himself. That, I think, is powerful. If you want to come to an institution that will encourage you to be the artist you want to be, maybe this is the place for you. So to recap on tonight, and then we'll just explore our values for a little bit. Tonight is 2 hours of live stream about the BRIT School from the students, from the staff, talking to you about what we offer here and what we're about. It's not the only way that you can follow the school. You can also follow us on Insta or Twitter or Facebook. And we have a series of films on our YouTube channel which kind of explores what we're all about. And you can look at them at your leisure and go into more depth about what we offer here. But if you've got a question tonight, we have a panel of experts from our head of pastoral to our careers, to our student services team, to all of the people involved in making the BRIT School work, including those directors of the performing arts that you saw earlier. You can ask them direct questions tonight on our live stream, and we'll do our very, very best to answer those questions. So if we kind of return to what the BRIT School stands for and what it means, we have these kind of values that we believe in. We believe that this BRIT School, this place in Selhurst, is a place where we can encourage you to be yourself, to be the artist you want to be original choreographer or an original games designer or an original filmmaker or artist or graphic designer. We would encourage you to be an original composer. So we believe that if we can create the right conditions for you to be yourself, then you can be the artist and the person you want to be. we also really believe in responsibility. If you look at that amazing community arts practice course, CAP course that you heard about earlier, those young people are changing the world. They're running courses and projects with people that don't have a chance to have the arts in their lives. They're working, whether it's in dementia centres or in hard-to-reach parts of the community, and those CAP students are actually changing the world. And I think that's true of a lot of BRIT School students who want to use their art form, whether that's on BRIT Radio or whether that's through BRIT Live or all the other kind of parts of the BRIT School, to kind of ensure that the community have access to the arts. I love the fact that the musical theatre team put on shows for our local primary schools, or that the theatre team work in pupil referral units. In fact, every school in the BRIT School seems to be working in the community in some way, because community matters to us. And we think about ambition. You know that some BRIT schools have done extraordinary things. But I love the fact when Chris was talking from the music department earlier, that when he turns on the TV and there's music students in the backing bands on Jules Holland, or in some band at Glastonbury that he didn't know was working as a musician on a day-to-day basis. And that's, I think, the ambition of the school, actually. The ambition of the school is that you come here, you have the best education, you have an extraordinary experience in this atmosphere, which is pretty unique, and out of it you can find work, and you can find a career in a direction and a kind of sense of purpose. And just look at the last couple of weeks of former BRIT School students and what they've achieved. I was so pleased to hear that Simi, who's a filmmaker, she was on the FMP course, and she's just won the BFI Young Black Filmmaker of the Year award. Check that out, okay? She made that film while she was here. She's gone on to one of the best universities in the country at Warwick. And there is Simi, who's just made this incredible film that she made at BRIT. She's put it forward to the BFI, and she's walked away with that top prize. She is literally changing the world. And very kindly, when she was interviewed by the BFI, she said it all started at BRIT School. She hadn't made a film before. The BRIT School encouraged her, and there she is now being recognised by the British Film Institute. You can look at other great successes this week, in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I'm delighted that we have, I think, 3 former students who are nominated for Black British Theatre Awards. 2 that were on the musical theatre course, and Ola Ince, the West End theatre director, who went to BRIT, studied theatre, and there she is being nominated as one of the most young, exciting black theatre directors in the country at this moment in time. And we're very proud of that. We're very proud of all of those students who've gone through. I love the fact that actually tonight we're being filmed by film students. Some of the set that we have here is former production art students who are literally working everywhere in the industry at the moment. They came in and loaned us some equipment for tonight so we could look as professional as we could. And I think that's really powerful, that you might come to the school and want to give back and be what is called Always Brit. There's a student tonight who's just done an Instagram live video, a young actress called Cynthia, and she was doing a speech from a play written by one of our former students, Cush Jumbo. And I sent the clip to Cush. Cush is filming, I think, somewhere at the moment, and she said, wow, that's amazing that students at the BRIT School are studying the play that I wrote. So what we're trying to say in this kind of section, I suppose, is that this is a great place for you to come. The next section of the evening is dedicated to the creative arts, and this is such an important part of the school. Think about how much television you've watched during lockdown. Think about how important film has been to me. To you, not to me. It's been important to me, by the way. But think how important film has been to you. Think about how much you've listened to the radio. Think how much you might have been on technology, whether you've been using apps or you've been involved with Instagram or all of those products that technology has become so important to all of us. And we have courses here that are about to talk tonight and about to kind of explain why they're so important to you, which are literally changing the world, because the creativity is the expanding industry in this country. And so we need the filmmakers, the TV makers, the games designers, the lighting designers, the set designers. We need those people who are going to take us to that level. And we have a growing, expanding art and design department who have become more, working in fashion now, who are working in sculpture, who are working in all these art forms. And we're quite excited that those students and those staff are coming to you in the second half of this programme. So we kind of want to say thank you for tuning in. Keep contacting the BRIT. You've got all of those facilities. You have all those opportunities to ask us questions tonight. But the most important thing, of course, I suppose, is talking to the students. So if you connect into the Instagram stuff, you'll see loads of current students and former students talking. And it's so important that you see them as the kind of what's the BRIT School all about. So thank you so much for being part of tonight. It's a difficult, challenging time, I suspect, being a young person. But this school, which is positive, this school which I think is warm and supportive and hardworking and full of dedicated young people, might be the right place for you during these difficult times, for you to feel connected, for you to be part of something, and hopefully that your education will flourish with us. So the second half of tonight is on its way, the creative arts part of the evening. We're so glad you're with us. Enjoy the next hour and stay with us. Always BRIT. Thanks so much.
Hello, my name is Sienna James and I'm in my final year at BRIT School and I study musical theatre. We wanted to show you around the school, have a little close up and show you what it's all about. So I first found out about the school when my dad had actually mentioned it to me. One of his friends, their child actually came here. They absolutely loved it, would recommend it to anyone. I sort of knew from a young age that I wanted to go down the road of musical theatre or acting, that kind of stuff, so I knew this was going to be the best place to get the experience and the training. So yeah, I decided to take a shot, audition, and here I am. Woo! Something I didn't realise when I first came to the school, that everything is completely free. You don't have to pay for any of your studying, your training, nothing. It's completely free, which I think is so good because it accepts everyone from all different backgrounds, whether you can afford it or not. It means everyone gets the same level as training without having to pay. I also didn't realise that each strand has such good facilities here. I mean, for musical theatre, for me personally, we have 2 big studios with mirrors, have loads of rooms to practice in, as well as every other strand has their own training place where they are really allowed to experiment with what they like to do. The school is so diverse. It has so many different types of people from all different styles, ethnicities, backgrounds, and it's so open to every person. So whether you feel like you don't fit in, you're always going to fit in here. My highlight of last year was putting on all of the shows that we did. We got to show our parents and all our friends and everyone came to watch. And also we got to collaborate with the production art team who created our sets as well as our lighting and the whole run through. We all got to do it with them. And that's a good thing about BRIT. Each strand can help each other as they get more training as well. Everyone at BRIT is super supportive. They all want to see you do well and succeed in your own strands, as well as the teachers give an equal amount of time for each person and get individual feedback after each lesson. What's your favourite thing about BRIT?
I love BRIT because I really feel like I can be myself.
I like the teachers at BRIT. It's just done! And now it's home time. Very sweaty. Yes, very sweaty. So first of all, you have to fill out an online application where you run through a few questions, they give you a task to do, and then you might be accepted to the next stage, which is a workshop where there's a group of people all auditioning with you, and then after that, if you get through, we then go on to an interview where you get to go one-to-one with the teachers who are in your strand. You get to ask them questions and then they ask you questions. My one piece of advice for getting into the BRIT School, every strand looks for someone who's really passionate about what they want to study. That is what all teachers are looking for. They want to see it through your work, through your audition, through your application online as well. Everything is about passion and have a good personality, be excited, you want to come to this school for a reason. If you are nervous about applying, don't worry about it. There is loads of resources online that will give you more information, and make sure to take note of the deadline so you don't forget, and we hope to see you next year.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the BRIT Theatre. If you weren't here earlier, I'm Ray Aldkirk, one of the assistant principals here at the BRIT School. I hope you're really well. So, very happy to be here live with our fantastic creative arts directors to find out more about those specific courses. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Olivia Chu and I'm the Director of Production Arts. I'm Kerry Weston and I'm one of the Directors of Interactive Digital Design.
Hi, I'm Alice Everest. I'm Co-Director of Visual Arts and Design.
Hello, I'm Graham Chalk and I'm the Director of Film and Media Production.
Thanks, guys. So, again, as we did with performing arts directors, this is a chance to really find out about the differences between the strands, why you should apply, why we believe and we know that these courses and the BRIT School is really special, and also to be able to ask some questions. Keep those coming in if you don't know already. There's 3 ways, yes there are, that you can ask those questions. I've been over to the engine room and seen all of those staff who are on the YouTube live chat, and they are working away to answer your questions. So do post those if that's your preferred method. Also, you can email student services. They're the experts, particularly in the application process. Really, really important if you've got some specific questions there. That is studentservices@brit.croydon.sch.uk. And if you're old school, like me, you might pick up a telephone. I don't know how many people have done this yet, but if you want to, it's 0208 66 55 242. You could be the first one to call in. Most people are doing other means at the moment. So, guys, fantastic. As we know, you can only apply for 1 strand. We've already heard about the fact that these are level 3 qualifications. They are super challenging and super brilliant. They are University of Arts London qualifications, extended diplomas, and all of the strands follow those courses. Last year's phenomenal results across performing and creative arts meant that we had over 50% of our students achieving distinctions. That's the equivalent of 3 A's at A-level. So we're incredibly proud of those results. All students get to work with students from other strands on projects and also work with our community partners, as Stuart was talking about. So we've got about half an hour with these guys. Let's get into it. Let's start with the same question, really, that we started with performing arts, which is what it is that makes your courses so special here at BRIT School at Post 16. Olivia, for production arts.
I think what makes us so special is we're the only strand that works with every other single strand within the school. We collaborate with everybody, and our strand gives you the opportunity to still be involved in the arts, still be involved in theatre. Even if you don't want to be on the front of the stage, you might want to be behind stage. We've got a really diverse curriculum that we offer, and we cover all aspects of backstage production.
Fantastic. Thanks, Liv. Kerry, for interactive digital design, what's that special area here at BRIT?
I think what makes interactive digital design a bit different from other courses is that you don't just specialise in games design or 3D or graphic design. You study a whole breadth of units. And what's really nice is you might have a kind of illustrator sitting next to a game designer, and you can really learn off each other and develop those skills and create something new and different that doesn't exist yet.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kerry. Alice, visual art and design, what particularly stands out to you here at BRIT School?
Yeah, again, I think it's variety, the fact that we've got a huge amount of disciplines. So if you're doing a typical A-level in art and design, you might just say stick to painting, or you might stick to sculpture or photography. But we actually cover all of those areas, as well as fashion and textiles. We do work in 3D, we'll also have illustration, we'll do graphic design. So we've got a whole range of areas. And so I think it's that diversity that makes it really different, along with all the facilities that we also all have as well.
Thanks, Alice. Graham, film and media production, what's particularly special here, do you feel, at BRIT School?
I'm going to focus on opportunity, whether that's within department or whether that's from the wider school. Last year we were fortunate enough to be Screen Skills accredited, which was a stamp of approval from the industry. They came in, spoke to our students, looked at the work the students were producing, and looked at our facilities and decided that they would accredit us for the work that we're doing, which was brilliant. And that obviously opens the door to further opportunities, links to industry, whether it be filmmaking, broadcast, or photography. And I think that's really exciting, both for myself being in charge of the department, but especially for the students who join us.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Second question, again, that we were looking at with performing arts courses was, in a way, the sort of first question that comes from young people applying is what you're actually looking for in those young people. And there might be some common things. We've talked at the BRIT School about hard work, professionalism, commitment, and obviously our core values of young people who we want to be original, responsible, ambitious, inclusive, and kind. But there might be some particular aspects that you're really looking for that it's good for young people who are thinking about applying. So thinking about that, Liv, in terms of production arts.
For production arts, I think the biggest thing is stamina. We do a lot of early mornings, a lot of late nights. you could be with us for 12 to 14 hours of your day. So you need to be able to maintain that enthusiasm. But I think, you know, if you work within production or any of the strands, you really are passionate about the arts and what you're doing. So a 14-hour day to someone might seem just unimaginable, but if you love it, it's gone in the blink of an eye. So really, it's stamina and a love for what you do.
Fantastic. You've got to be thinking about stamina and being healthy enough to be able to do 12-hour days there, actually. Brilliant. Kerry, for interactive digital design, what are you looking for particularly?
We're looking for people who have a real passion for digital design. So you could be somebody at home that loves to draw, that really wants to turn your hand to an iPad, for example. Or you might be somebody who loves just sitting at home designing 3D models and animations, and you want to make a career of it. So people who really, really see themselves having a really exciting career in the digital arts.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kerry. Visual arts and design, Alice.
Yeah. So I think we want them to be driven, playful, inquisitive. We want them to explore. I mean, the whole idea is that it's this growth mindset. They've got to work through the process with all UAL courses. The whole idea is that you've got to work through play, you've got to fail, you've got to recover, you've got to expose yourself to all of that kind of, the different disciplines and areas. So it's kind of really being able to work through that, and so therefore being confident enough to work through that as well. So we really work with that with our students to build their confidence in their own discipline, with failing, pulling themselves back again, and being ready for that kind of vocational link that they might have into further education, higher education. So they actually have got a bit of a journey ahead of them as well. They don't need to know exactly what they want to do, but they want to go into the creative arts after this, you know, that they've got that real passion, as we've all said. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alice. Graham, film and media production.
Yeah, so we want team players. So we're really interested in people who enjoy working with others, working with people from diverse backgrounds. You know, the industries that we serve welcome people from a vast variety of backgrounds, organisational skills, creative, technical. And that all kind of comes together working on a film, or you might be working on a broadcast. So we focus our recruitment process on looking for those softer skills, because we're aware that once students join us, we can teach them the harder skills of using software or the camera equipment that we've got.
Really helpful. There's, Alice, just coming back to your point about the process, the creative process, so looking for young people that really want to engage in that process, which takes them sometimes out of their comfort zone as well, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They might do kind of areas of study that they're not as passionate about, or that they think, oh no, I'm not massively interested in photography, why am I working in that? But actually, it's working in all areas within art and design that we're interested in year 12, and then they start to narrow down their discipline when they go into year 13. And I think actually that's the beauty of the UAL course for all of the areas where they find what they really want to do. So actually a huge amount of our students that go on to further and higher education or apply for jobs or apprenticeships, they know what they want to do, so they understand industry-wise, vocationally-wise, where their skills actually sit. So they're not spending a year or a couple of years maybe in a course they're not really sure about, or they go on to university, which we all know is massively expensive now. So, you know, what they're investing in post here, they actually understand what they're doing as well, which is really
leads
important.
me very nicely to my next question for you all as well. Thanks, Alice. So, yeah, next steps, basically, after BRIT, you guys will know the sort of extraordinary things and the range of areas that your students have gone on to when they finish post-16 or they've graduated and they become BRIT alumni. So maybe some examples or your sense of the range of things. Liv, for production arts.
So we're quite lucky in that we've got a fairly even 50-50 split between students at the end of being here with us will go to university or they will go straight into work. The quantity of shows they work on here is unlike the quantity they would work on in a very similar course in a different school, which means that we, at the end of this, can create a quality product, essentially, to either send into the world of work where they are able to start a job and work as well as their peers, or be able to get into one of the sort of top 5 universities for our discipline.
Thank you, Liv. I'm just checking on questions here as well as they're coming in live. So I was absolutely listening as well. Kerry, in terms of interactive digital design.
Yeah, our students go on to a variety of places after BRIT. As Alice said, the beauty of UAL is that they can hone their discipline so that by the time they leave, they've got a really strong portfolio in the subject they love. And that can be really broad. So we have students that go and study games design, or they go and study 3D animation at Escape Studios, or they might go to Central St Martin's and study graphic design, or they might go and set up their own business or go and become a junior intern somewhere at some studio that's really nice. So really, whatever they discover is their thing during the course, they can take on further to a kind of, you know, semi-professional level.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Kerry. Alumni from Visual Arts and Design, Alice.
Yeah, I mean, actually, as well, a lot of the parents at Parents' Evening will ask kind of what universities do your students go on to, and it's kind of the array of University Arts London, like universities that we've got a great connection with, but also they've gone off to the Glasgow School of Art, they've gone to Falmouth, they've kind of gone all over the country and also abroad as well. So FE, HE, yeah, we equip them for that. It's part of our course, developing that, their portfolios. We work on interview questions with them. But also, they do go out into the world of work. We've just started a live Q&A with our alumni, so they're coming back and actually talking about their journey, and they might be still at uni, they might be post-uni, they've now got their own companies, they might be freelance. So actually, they're learning about all of that as well whilst they're on our course. So it's kind of that exposure to all of that as well, which is really important.
Thanks, Alice. Graham, film and media production alumni, what sort of things are they going on to do?
The way the course is designed, we produce problem solvers, and part of the reason we do that is because our discussions with industry, we realise how important that skill is. You know, whether a student wants to progress on to university, could be straight into employment through an apprenticeship or an internship, or set themselves up as working freelance, we kind of support them in that process. And you know, because of the breadth of our curriculum, you know, we provide them that experience on, you know, sizable projects that they can really get their teeth into and prepare them for the world of work.
I mean, we're going to hear from some of your Year 13 students after this, and probably they'll share some of their ambitions. But thinking about young people watching this and thinking about joining the BRIT School, I just wonder about the advice that you might give. There's a process, they're building portfolios and so on, and researching, but what particular bits of advice might you give to them if they're thinking of applying for your courses? Liv, production arts.
I just really want to see that they love it. And I don't necessarily mean production arts, because as a course, you're not taught this at Key Stage 4. This is quite niche, and you know, it's going to be something that maybe you have done media studies and you think, oh, you know, maybe actually I want to do lighting, or maybe I want to do sound, or you've done textiles at school and you think, oh, actually I want to do costume. Yeah. But what I want to see is a real love for the art. So I don't care if it's something you've seen at the National or it's someone's video that you've seen on YouTube. You can tell the passion in somebody instantly if they're so in love with the art form. And that's really what I want to see, because then you know they're going to be committed to the course.
Even as you were saying that, Liv, and guys, you might get to this as well. We've got a question that came in. I think it links. It's about supporting documents and what other sorts of things you might be interested in seeing, I suppose, in that interview and workshop process. So if you've got any comment about that to bring in as you're thinking about the advice you give, that would be great as well. Kerry, for interactive digital design.
Yep, so it's same as Liv's course and probably every other course here, we look for absolute passion in the subject. So that could be what inspires you, who inspires you, your ability to talk about that. A lot of students worry that they don't know how to use the software, that, you know, they're not Photoshop experts. We teach you that. You don't need to come in with that. We understand that you're not taught those things and maybe don't have access to those things. So in place of that, what we would look for is, do you have a pile of sketchbooks that, you know, you don't think or anything, but we think are pretty special. So bring in everything that you've got that shows your passion for design and art and design, and how you want to apply that digitally. And that's what, you know, that's what we look for, really.
Thanks, Kerry. And there'll be some similarities, I know, which we can draw out as well, or if there's any particular additions to your particular areas. Alice, for visual art and design.
Yeah, I think people get caught up with the whole leather-bound portfolio. It's got to be an A1 portfolio or things like that. Also, I know a lot of students in the past have got stressed about that they can't access their GCSE work, or it's not allowed to be taken off site from their school. Photograph it. Make sure you do good photographs so that there's enough detail in them, or you can do close-ups, you can represent scale in those photos, but it's a whole range of work as well that we want to see. But particularly we're interested in how you work within the arts at school, if you do any after-schools clubs or any extracurricular stuff that we can look at as well. Again, being able to talk about your inspirations, any exhibitions you've been to virtually in the past as well that have really inspired you and why. And I think it's that ability to talk about what inspires you and why, understanding that, you know, they're not just parrot fashioning it off. It's kind of really knowing why they understand what's important to them and what's really interesting to them, which is what we want to find out.
Do the research. Brilliant. Thanks, Alice. Graham, FMP, advice, perhaps portfolio or otherwise?
I would say experiment, you know, have fun with the subject. And, you know, we're all kind of potential journalists or filmmakers. We carry mobile phones in our pockets. And, you know, don't get too hung up on the equipment you're using. You know, focus more on the story you're telling. You know, the real focus for us when students join us is kind of developing those storytelling skills. And that starts from using platforms like social media, TikTok, Instagram.
Thanks, Graham. I want to get into that. You know, we are where we are with what's going on in the world, and you guys have really explored online learning and what the potential there is, what you can do, and the BRIT School has been extraordinarily successful. Parents and carers have said it, that we've been doing cutting-edge digital provision where we've needed to, and that we're taking that forward. I just wondered if there were examples or particular things that you've kind of found in your creative areas that you've been able to do through online and digital learning. Liv, production arts?
I think the most sort of like impactful thing we did was our Q&A series. So we found it as a brilliant time to reach out to those people that, you know, are terribly generous to us, but are always busy. They're in New York, they're on planes. Everyone was at home. So we could, you know, message them and say, I don't suppose you would talk to our students for 30 minutes. And we had like Ez Devlin, you know, the costume designer from Killing Eve. And it was amazing. And those kind of people were so inspirational for the students because it can be done. Sometimes jobs in the arts seem like that's a job for someone else. Oh, it's not a job for me. And I think sometimes that's difficult if you don't see yourself represented. So, you know, it was so important to have these people represented, women, you know, the BAME community. They're saying, this is a job, you are valid, you can be here and you can create your life based around this art form. So for me, I think that was the best thing that we did.
That's so powerful. And those industry connections, that's been a bit of a theme throughout tonight. I think Stuart was talking about it earlier. And you might give an example of that. Kerry, interactive digital design perhaps lends itself to digital work, but what kind of things were you guys able to do with online?
We're really lucky that we're digitally based anyway, as you said, because the students can work and produce their work online and send it across. And what's really good as well is this school provides the Adobe license for students to be able to work from home. So that's really, really useful. But I think, like Liv, we totally took advantage of the fact that these amazing people were sitting at home and willing to give their time and sort of giving back a little bit into education. We had some great speakers of, you know, animators and creative directors at Google and places like that that would come and give some advice. And I don't know if you guys found the same thing, but we were able to sit and talk in a really relaxed way with them because they were in their home. You know, they weren't in a kind of unfamiliar environment with lots of people looking at them. So actually, it was really nice.
Yeah, there's something really open about that process where you can just chat, as you say, with industry experts and people who've got that real experience, which is so valuable for our students. Alice, visual arts and design.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I want to highlight as well is how incredibly generous the school was to the students and to the staff to make sure that everyone was supplied with the right IT equipment. And I mean, that was even spoken about in a meeting that we recently had, you know, that they're so fully supported, and that was really important that the students had access to that. And then just, I think what really amazed me was the flexibility of the staff, of the students, and willingness to kind of around the clock work and kind of find our new normal. Again, we had incredible live Q&As where people became real, and it, again, as you said, it wasn't this kind of out there person that didn't really exist, but they do. They became really real for our students, and they were part of this lovely live Q&A, which we've continued through now. But yeah, and I think we've already had feedback from students with questionnaires in Year 12, and what they're really excited about is coming to a school where it's like-minded people and being surrounded by like-minded people and like-minded adults that are supporting them as well, that they find are giving them a lot of energy and encouragement, and something they said they didn't necessarily have in their educational past, which is really humbling actually as staff for all of us. I know we feel that way. So
I think that's really powerful, and it kind of represents us all here at the school, doesn't it? Where we talk about the culture of the BRIT School and how very different that is in a very, very inclusive, diverse way that means people do often find it quite transformative.
Accessible, free education within the arts, which isn't usually heard of.
No,
so,
no, I don't think it is at all. Graham, Film and Media Production, aka FMP, what do you think in terms of the online provision that, you know, really was so successful and continues to be?
So at the end of an academic year, we have an award ceremony. We normally host this at the BFI South Bank, which is a wonderful occasion. We invite kind of industry and friends and family, and it's really nice kind of celebration of all the work that happens in the department. So I suppose to think the Oscars only more inclusive. But this year, obviously, because of COVID, we weren't able to do that. So we had to think of an alternative, and we decided to run it on Zoom. And it was more successful than we'd hoped. And with the support of Production Arts, we set up a little mini TV studio in my kitchen, and we managed to broadcast and invite industry guests and friends and family to that, and students, potential new students we invited as well, because it's a really good opportunity for them to see the kind of standard of work. And it was nice for our Year 13 students who'd had that kind of disrupted period, and it was a nice moment for them to say goodbye to the school and kind of celebrate what they'd achieved.
It was phenomenal, Graham, and I saw it. I kind of want to know whether, it's not a question that's come through, but whether you still have that set up in your kitchen. You're still broadcasting live from your kitchen.
No. I had to give back my kitchen, unfortunately. But the video is available to view on our YouTube site. So
fantastic. Guys, there's a question that's come through. This is more of a general question. Came up earlier about what GCSEs you guys would need if you're applying for the BRIT School. So one of the very special things about the school is that our focus is on your applications for your art form. You've heard about the passion and the drive and the commitment that the directors are looking for. And so that really drives our application process. So if you don't get the GCSEs in English or maths, then like all students across the country, those have to be resat, but we're not looking for those specific qualifications. What we're looking for is the type of student that you've heard about, both in performing arts and creative arts tonight. So hopefully that makes that clear. Guys, another question that's come through, maybe this is more personal, but actually it's about what you love about your art form. And what maybe you love about it here. I think we've already talked a little bit about some of the things that are particularly powerful about the BRIT culture here. But just thinking about your own art forms, your experts, your specialists in those areas, something tells me that we're able to really develop those here as staff. Liv, production arts, I know your background from the industry as well, but what do you love about effectively running production arts here at the BRIT School?
I really love that moment where you get a student who might have come from a school perhaps where they could be LGBTQ+ and they've not been accepted, or they could have been the kid at their school that was really into lighting and therefore everyone thought you were vaguely odd, you know, but I just love it when they get here and you see them and they come in with this kind of anxiety that they've had from their secondary school education, and you just see it melt away. And they get here and they suddenly go, oh, everyone's really busy being amazing. That's brilliant. And you just see them come into their own. And then to watch them when they're crewing shows or, you know, when they're performing as well, because I get to sort of be part of some other departments as well because of our collaborative nature, and seeing that, like I'm a crier at shows, so like I always do have a little weep in the seats because it's such an overwhelming feeling of being so proud of them because they're your students, but they are like your children.
Yeah.
They are your school children.
That's the kind of BRIT family element that's really powerful as well. Thanks, Liv. Kerry, with interactive digital design, I suppose a number of students won't have formally studied that before they've come here. You've got that expertise. You've talked through how they don't have to have it beforehand. You nurture them. But they get to the point where they're producing like undergraduate sort of level work that we've shared. What is it that you love particularly about how you're able to deliver it here?
I love to see the development of a student, as you say, that's never studied it before, what they've come in with, and then how they kind of, you know, how their mind works, and they kind of learn and feed off their peers and develop these amazing things, and then in the end produce something that's really personal to them and of professional quality. That development, that student journey is just really inspiring. Like, I'm always inspired and learning off students myself. And I love it, you know, I love those moments where a student will teach you something and then teach it back to the class. And I think those are the moments that, are the best for me. Yeah.
Thanks, Kerry. Visual arts and design, Alice, what do you love about that here?
I think it's the autonomy that, you know, we can make each year completely different if we want to with our course. You know, the course is so flexible, so we can, if something's really inspiring us as staff, we can push that forward. If someone's approached us and they really want to work with the students, we can do that. And the school is really flexible with that. So actually having a specialism, almost doesn't exist sometimes within our department, because actually staff are constantly learning, constantly changing their specialist area, or might become really inspired by something and take it on. So actually, I think it's that autonomy of kind of being able to shape your course around your students and what they are really loving, and working with them as well. So yeah, that really inspires you each day as well.
Thanks, Alice. Graham, film and media production, and you know, it's so well established at the BRIT School that there's nothing quite like it elsewhere. But what is it that particularly here, I suppose, inspires you, Alice was talking about, and what you love about running that course at the BRIT School?
I think it's empowering young people to be able to tell their story. And I think we're at a time, you know, a monumental moment in history where story is really important. And both in terms of giving a voice to maybe an underrepresented part of our community, and kind of seeing them grow with that kind of, I suppose, responsibility. And one thing I know about BRIT School students and potential BRIT School students is they're really passionate about being heard, and that's brilliant.
Brilliant, guys. Last question that's come through is really to do with how people can find out more. So any sort of, there might be some similarities, it's already come up a little bit, but how can the young people find out more about your courses? Maybe we can go backwards, Graham, so I'm going to mix it up.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, so we're going to start with you. So how can they find out more, Graham? Film and media production.
Right, okay. Instagram, BRIT FMP. You can check out our Instagram, links there to our the BRIT School Films YouTube channel. And like I said, check out our showcase from last year that'll have kind of some really, really impressive work within it.
Fantastic. Alice?
Yeah, Instagram, website, checking out all our pages on there. But Instagram's got also our COVID catalogue as well by our Year 13s, which is this massive, beautiful catalogue.
It is. I've got a copy.
Yeah, I know. It's beautiful. And they're kind of going through it digitally at the moment on Instagram stories. So check that out as well. And it's kind of, yeah, it's really heartfelt because it's kind of our Year 13s and it was kind of like that show, but it's in a beautiful book. So yeah, check that out.
Lucky to have a copy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Interactive digital design, Kerry.
So I would say the website, the BRIT School website, as well as the Instagram page where we've got, you know, examples of student work, some alumni, and bits and bobs of what we do.
Thank you. Liv, production art.
So yeah, Instagram and also email. If you go on our website, my email is on there. I'm more than happy to have you email me directly. I love a chat, as you might have noticed. So I'm more than happy to answer questions directly.
Amazing. Guys, you said we were going to get deep into it, and we did. That was fantastic. So thank you so much, Directors of Creative Arts. We are in a moment, or in a short moment, going to go over to the library to see your amazing Year 13, current Year 13 students. Let's hope it all joins up with what you're saying and they're saying. I'm sure it will. And we're going to join Claire in a moment. Couple of quick reminders for everybody. The 31st of January, earlier on I said the 30th, but the 31st of January is the deadline for applications for the Creative Arts and Community Arts Practice, or CAP, which are the courses that you can develop your portfolios. The guys were talking about that earlier. Please make sure that you do that. The directors' talks are also available. All these guys have given you very specific talks on their strands, as well as the performing arts directors. Those are available on the YouTube channel and also on the school website. Applications, of course, are online, so do make sure you fill those out as best you can. We talked earlier about doing your best on those application forms, because that's what the directors see first, so it's really good that you represent yourself as well as you can. Stuart Warden, the principal's talk, is also available on the YouTube channel and on our website as well. You will be able to also hear from our top performing students. I'm being told now that we are going live over to the library, hear from the students. Always a good thing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ray. I'm here with the creative arts students. We're going to find out about each of their courses, and we're getting towards the end of the night now, everybody. So let's hear what our students have got to say about production arts. This is Edward and Jess. Tell me about the course and tell me about the different disciplines.
So production arts is basically everything backstage. So you'll cover things from costume, lighting, sound, set, stage management. So in your kind of first few terms, you'll be able to get big experience in everything. So if you're a bit unsure about what you want to study, you'll be able to get an idea in everything. And then you can specialise in kind of what you kind of enjoyed, and also you get an opportunity to specialise later on in a different one if you wanted to try out. And then in your second year, you can specialise in what you want to study.
Okay, so you get the whole skill set, you get an understanding of all the different elements there.
Yeah, you get a great skill set. So I kind of learnt how to use a sewing machine that I hadn't learnt how to do before. So that's a great skill, but also kind of learning what also goes on in other departments and kind of how all the departments in our strand come together to put on a show. So yeah.
Okay. So you're thinking about developing your skills in light and sound. Where are you going to go next after BRIT?
So I'm planning on going on further education, uni, and then after that I'm obviously got ambition to hopefully go into the live events industry and begin doing touring with big bands and things, so yeah.
Okay, thank you. Jess, tell us about your experience of production arts.
I think PA is absolutely amazing. For me, I do costume, and I love it because I want to work in fashion when I'm older, and costume allows me to work in both costume and study a bit of like fashion with it. You know, if I say to the teachers I want to go into fashion, they'll focus more on like the fashion elements of costume to me rather than just costumes. There's so much opportunities you can do in PA, like you can go into stage management, you can go into touring with lighting.
Yeah.
There's so much opportunities in that single strand.
Okay, thank you. And tell us about, because we met doing the drag show, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about, or tell us about the opportunities to get involved in other things at BRIT.
There's so much side stuff you can do, like you can enter like so many contests. There are like nationwide contests that you can do. But as you said, the drag show, that was like the highlight of BRIT for me. I absolutely loved it. What I loved about it is that no other school could do a drag show and have every single person in the school be okay with it, love it, support it. Like, it's such an inclusive school. It's absolutely amazing. You know, it's very, you know, we're very pro Black Lives Matter, pro like LGBT. It's absolutely amazing. The drag show, the experience there, backstage, all of the queens were so kind to each other, was also sweet. The audience absolutely loved the show. It was a huge show and such a success, and it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was really good fun, wasn't it? So tell us about the sort of your career hopes. So you're thinking about fashion. Where are you going to go straight after here?
So I want to either go into an apprenticeship or go straight into the fashion industry and become a stylist. So I'm going to try and push to go into the creative industry and become a stylist straight away, but if not, I'll try and fall back and go on an apprenticeship and kind of make a few connections before I kind of can leave and fly on my own.
And speaking of those connections, tell me about your lockdown lessons. Tell me about what happened when you were in lockdown.
For me, the highlight of lockdown was when we had a Q&A with S. Devlin, who is an absolutely huge set designer. She does a lot of concerts. She done a Miley Cyrus concert. She designed a set for it. It was absolutely iconic, and having a Q&A with her was amazing. She's such an inspiration, and hearing the steps that she took was amazing.
So you're getting these real opportunities,
Yeah.
even when we're not here, to meet these incredible people.
Yeah. Meeting
So-
the top industry profession and getting to meet them and focus on them was absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you both so much. That's great. Okay, so here we are with our visual arts students, Tegan and Joseph. So I'm going to ask you some similar questions. Tell us, why did you choose visual arts at BRIT? What made you choose the BRIT School to do that?
Well, when I came on the open day, I found that the environment was just so open, and like everyone is allowed to be who they are and like what they want to do. So if I wanted to do graphics, I could. If I wanted to do fine art, I could. Yeah,
great. How about you, Joseph?
For me, I really found that the facilities here were really strong. So on the open evening, I saw all the access to things like film cameras we could hire, and screen printing facilities. Also, we have like a Mac suite. So yeah, we really have a lot of things at our disposal, so we can kind of be flexible across disciplines.
You've got the facilities, you've got the options to sort of experiment in different disciplines as well. Tell me about the opportunities. What kind of things have you been doing in your sort of first year here?
Well, within our first months, we were able to show some of our work at Chelsea UAL in their space, and to have already be exposed to people in uni, so it gives us sort of a few more connections to people who are older than us, I guess.
Well, that's an incredible experience, isn't it? You were, 17 at the time? That's amazing. Yeah. And have there been other things that you've been involved with as well?
We did a showcase at some Apple stores, so at Regent Street and Covent Garden, where we could show some of the iPad kind of drawing stuff with some of the dance students as well. So that was a really exciting opportunity I don't think many other schools would necessarily get. So
it's a really interesting partnership as well. What are you thinking about after BRIT? Where is this taking you? What will be next?
Well, at first I wanted to do graphics, but with being like what's the word? Exposed to so many different things. I now wanted to do fine art, so I'm now going to try and explore that at uni now.
Okay. And it's that time, isn't it, to start looking at the the next place, even though you've just started year 13. Okay, thank you both. That's great. And we have our interactive digital design students here. This is Harmony and Ryan. Tell us first of all about interactive digital design and what is, tell us about that course. What makes it different from art or film and media?
So basically, it's the digital side of what you would see as art, basically. So games design, 3D modeling, animation, VFX, even just digital painting on itself. It's essentially just the digital side of art and media.
Okay, and what led you to that, Harmony, rather than sort of a traditional course?
So I'm really into games design and like VFX and motion graphics. So while I'm a very creative person and like painting, like I'm more into the digital side and like what people do with it, like online and such. So that's where I want to take myself and my career in the future. So that's why I chose IDD instead.
Okay, that's great, thank you. Ryan, how about you? Tell us about what ID's like to actually study here. What kind of equipment do we have? What kind of facilities?
We have access to brilliant equipment that allows us to fully express ourselves creatively, which I think is one of the most important things that IDD offers us. We get the ability to be ourselves and really express ourselves in our work, and despite the fact that the school is preparing us for the industry ahead where we're going to have to stick to tight briefs, still lets us express what we want to express in our work and make things that we're proud of.
That's really great. So tell me about what's one of the best things that's happened since you both started in IDD, the sort of opportunities, or what has inspired you?
So we also partnered up with Apple as AppleWorks Hogarth Studios, London Regent Street. So for me, I did the promotional video for it, like that included me filming like the footage I needed, and then I had to edit it, and then that was used for the Apple stories, and it was also featured like on the website and for the event.
So you were using loads of different skills there, not just sort of digital disciplines. You were filming all those different elements.
Experiencing like professional briefs as well. Like that was really good opportunity and just experience. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And Ryan, is there anything else that we need to know about IDD?
Just if you want to join IDD, make sure it's something you're passionate about, because you want to express all that passion in your work. Make sure it's something you're willing to sink in the hours to. It's not too grindy, but you need to have that stamina, and also make sure you enjoy it. It's something that's fun because then
it's really clear that's coming through from you two. Thank you. Thanks very much. Right, now last group of students that we're going to speak to are from film and media production. It's Chantel and Charlie. Tell me, why did you choose film and media at the BRIT School?
I mean, well, I've always wanted to study at the BRIT School from when I was a young age, but I never knew what I wanted to study. And it was around late year 10, early year 11 that I found a passion in film. So I decided to apply for BRIT, and yeah.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay. Charlie?
For me, film has always been something I've wanted to do. It's been a lifelong thing, and it's weird because it's it was a passion, and then since joining BRIT and being around so many like-minded people 24/7, my passion has just got insanely more than it was before. And I think it's a really nice environment to extend your passion, and from someone who thought they loved it to now who know I really, really love it. It's
You're living it, and and really finding that real true passion for it. Tell us about the work that you produced last year that's now being used in a professional environment.
So we did a project called Promotional Video, which is where you have to make a promotional video advert for a company, and it sort of gives you the skills to get in contact with companies and branch out. And I got in contact with Surrey Police, and I made their promotional video, and it was a really cool experience to be able to interact with them and get access to loads of different of their departments and things like that. And the video actually ended up getting used for their promotional advert and got loads of views and stuff on their Facebook and all their promotional social medias.
So you were given a brief. You had to go and find your client as well. You had to source your client, and then you produced something of an industry level.
Yes,
that's now being used out there.
Yeah,
that's great. Chantel, tell me about the other parts of film and media. What are you really passionate about? What do you enjoy?
They give so much opportunities within FMP. For broadcasting, you get to go in the YouTube studio and do shows on that actually are on the BRIT website, and all these different kind of things. So it's really good.
So I know in lockdown we've all started listening to the radio again. There's been radio numbers have gone right up. Are there radio opportunities here as well?
Yeah, they actually have access to the radio suite. That's one of our actual projects, which is broadcasting, where you get into groups and make your own factual show within the groups. Everyone has a different opportunity of presenting and driving, so many different experiences as well, so it was really good.
So like a lot of the other courses, you get that all-round understanding of all the different sides of it. You're not just doing one thing. So if you were going to tell me the best thing that's happened to you in your time at BRIT, Strand related, what would it be?
Oh wow, I think, I don't know if it's quite broad, but it kind of relates to my point earlier. It's just meeting loads of the same like-minded people. It's such a cool environment to be in, and everyone has the same passion as you do. And outside of school I talk about film, inside of school I talk about film with the friends I'm in and outside of school with, and I think it's just such a nice environment. So I don't know if I could think of one specific moment, but just hanging around with like-minded people is the nicest thing.
Thank you both. Right, I just want to say thank you to all of the students that have been here tonight, telling us about their experiences of BRIT. We're done for the evening. We've got one more video which is going to guide you on top tips for your applications. I hope you've enjoyed this evening. I hope you found it informative. We look forward to getting your applications. Thanks.
When I applied for BRIT, there were loads of questions I wanted answering. A top tip for the application process?
I remember a set of questions about you and your music background.
And I spent about a week or so filling out an application and creating a portfolio.
Do you know what? There's no right or wrong answers to these application questions, and all that I can do is be completely honest and true to myself, and that will be fine.
Not having experience wouldn't hold you back. If you've got a general passion and interest, then that's great.
After a few weeks of waiting, I was asked to come into BRIT for a workshop with other applicants.
And I was really, really stressed about the group session, but once I was in there, I was absolutely fine. There was nothing for me to worry about. Everybody was so nice, the teachers and all the people I was auditioning with.
You sort of just have to fully go for it on the day, talk with others and try your best to show your passion in your meeting. Express why this course at this school.
If you just genuinely have an interest, that's brilliant, because then that, at least we know, the teachers will know you'd put some effort in.
The teachers are not looking for someone perfect. That's not the point of going to a school. The point is that you're somebody who is passionate about the course and you've got the potential to grow and develop and have a willingness to learn and become better at what you already do.